usual environment, but now more usual because of the lockdown and everything that we have to experience at the moment. We have successfully started around about a month ago our reading hub, and today we seem to have a great guest, a wonderful guest that would help us do the best and like help us encourage the other students and people from all around the country to study English and read, which is very, very important. I would like to give the floor to the ambassador of United Kingdom into Moldova, Mr. Stephen Fisher, who has so graciously agreed to be with us today. Victoria, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so yes. You can just turn up the volume and say something also welcoming things from welcoming words on
So
behalf of the students.
I can say hi to everyone, and I would like to thank you on behalf of Meta volunteers and students from Moldova for your support in this difficult time for us. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
so the ambassador, the word is all the floor is all yours. So now you can just yes, take up
Thank you.
and lead on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And can I just check to begin with that you can hear me? Can somebody wave? And if you're hearing me clearly, Victoria, maybe you could.
Yes.
Can you?
So
You can hear. You can both hear me.
yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody to this little storytelling session. I'm going to tell the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And I hope everyone can understand that much. Goldilocks is the name of a little girl in this story, and she was called that because she had golden colored hair. And in English, locks is another word for hair. So Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You all know what bears are, I'm sure. So let me make a start. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Goldilocks. Goldilocks lived in a little house at the edge of the forest. She was called Goldilocks because her beautiful golden hair shone in the sunshine like gold. Goldilocks was a curious little girl. She liked to find out what was going on all around her. She often looked for adventures in the forest, and sometimes she found them. And we're going to hear about one of them. One sunny morning, Goldilocks set off for a walk in the woods. After a little while, she found a little house that she had never seen before, and she peeped in through the windows of the little house. And she didn't see anybody inside. She couldn't hear any noise from inside. So she knocked on the door. But nobody came to the door, and nobody opened the door. So she turned the door handle, and she went straight in. You might say that Goldilocks didn't have the best manners in the forest, but in she went into the little house. Now, what Goldilocks didn't know was who lived in this little house. This little house belonged to a family of bears. There was a small baby bear, a medium-sized mummy bear, and a great big daddy bear that lived in this house. What she also didn't know was that the bear family every morning used to go out into the forest to pick blueberries. Before they went out to pick the blueberries, Daddy Bear used to make a huge, big, steaming pot of porridge for them to eat for their breakfast. And they left the porridge in the house, in their little bowls on the table, and then went out to collect the blueberries. So when Goldilocks went into the house, she didn't find any bears at all because they were out in the forest picking blueberries. But what she did see when she walked into the house was the table, and on the table there were 3 bowls of porridge. Now this reminded Goldilocks that she hadn't had her own breakfast. and her tummy was empty, and she was very, very hungry. So she couldn't resist. She jumped up to the table and took a big spoonful of porridge from Daddy Bear's huge bowl. "Yow!" she yelped. "Yow! This porridge is too hot." She moved on to the next bowl, and she tried to taste the porridge from Mummy Bear's medium-sized bowl. "Ugh!" she said, pushing the bowl away. "This porridge is too cold." Lastly, Goldilocks went to the tiny little bowl at the end of the table, which was Baby Bear's bowl. She ate the porridge from the bowl, and she was happy. It was just right, not too hot, not too cold, just the right amount of sugar, and she ate it all up. After she finished eating all of Baby Bear's porridge, Goldilocks decided to go and see the rest of the house. So she walked into the living room. In the living room, she saw 3 chairs lined up. A big one, a medium-sized one, and a small one. First, she sat down in the great big chair, but she didn't like it very much. She said, "This chair is much too hard." Then she went to the second chair, which was a bit smaller, and she jumped up and sat in this chair. She said, "I don't like this chair very much. This one's too soft." And she went on to the third chair, which was very small. She sat down in it, and it was just right. You know when you sit in a chair that just feels right? This was that chair. And she was so comfortable, she began to jump and wriggle around happily. "This chair isn't just a little bit comfortable," said Goldilocks. "This chair is really comfortable. In fact, it's..." And as she was speaking, the chair broke into 1,000 pieces on the floor. And Goldilocks was on the floor with all the pieces of the chair, which was broken. "Oh dear," she said. "I didn't want that to happen. Never mind." As she was speaking, she realized that she was now feeling a bit tired, a bit sleepy. She was hungry before she ate the porridge. Now she's sleepy. "I wonder where I could find a comfortable bed to sleep in," said Goldilocks. "Probably upstairs." And she started to go up the stairs, searching for a bed to sleep in. Upstairs, she found a great big room with 3 beds. A great big bed, a medium-sized bed, and a tiny little bed. First, she jumped onto the big bed. "Oh no," she said, "this is no good. This bed is as hard as a rock. I'm not sleeping here." Then she went to the second bed. And she jumped onto the second bed. "Oh no," said Goldilocks. "This bed is much too soft. I couldn't possibly sleep here." She struggled out of the big soft bed and went to the third bed, which was a little tiny bed in the corner by the window. And then she sat down and lay down onto the little bed, closed her eyes, and dozed off into a lovely deep sleep. Well, while Goldilocks was asleep in the little bed upstairs in the little house, the 3 bears came back from their blueberry picking. They had lots and lots of blueberries with them. Daddy Bear carried a huge basket full of blueberries. Mummy Bear carried a medium-sized basket full of blueberries. Baby Bear carried a very small basket full of blueberries. They didn't know what to expect when they opened the door. They looked at the table with the 3 bowls of porridge. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Daddy Bear, not very happy. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mummy Bear. "And someone's been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it all up," said Baby Bear, and started to cry. Next, the hungry bears went into the living room and looked at their chairs. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair," said Daddy Bear in a huge bear growl. Somebody's been sitting in my chair too, said Mummy Bear, in a medium bear growl. And somebody's been sitting in my chair, said Baby Bear, crying and getting more and more upset, and it's broken into 1,000 pieces. Well, the bears were very confused and getting a bit angry as well as hungry, as they hadn't had their porridge, and now someone had broken Baby Bear's chair. And they went upstairs to see what was happening in the upstairs of the house. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed, said Daddy Bear with a huge growl. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed, said Mummy Bear in a medium-sized growl. And somebody's been sleeping in my bed, said Baby Bear in a little tiny growl, and she's still there. Look! And with that, the three bears all looked down at Goldilocks, who was fast asleep in Baby Bear's bed. Daddy Bear tapped Goldilocks on the shoulder, and she woke up a little bit and said, "Go away, I'm trying to sleep." But then she opened her eyes, and she saw three hungry, angry bears staring at her. She leapt out of the bed and ran away as fast as her legs would carry her, down the stairs, past the broken chairs, past the bowls of porridge, out of the door, along the path, and away into the forest. Goldilocks never again went to the home of the three bears, but she did often dream about that delicious bowl of porridge and that perfect little wooden chair and that comfortable, cozy bed. They were just right. And the bears carried on living in the same way they'd been living before. They repaired the chair and they made porridge every morning and collected blueberries. And sometimes they talked about the funny girl called Goldilocks that came to visit them one day. And they all lived happily ever after. And that's the end of the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you could understand me. And I hope it wasn't too scary for the little ones. Thank you.
It was really
Thank
interesting.
you. Yes, it was
Thank you a lot.
great. Yeah, I think that it was even interesting for me as a grown up to listen. That's definitely worth to listen to. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you.
And
It was my pleasure.
keep in
And
touch.
if you like to invite me again sometime, I would happily do it.
We'll please do for sure. Thank you again.
Okay. Good luck. Bye bye.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.